ब्रह्मानंदं परमसुगतं केवलं ज्ञानमुक्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदर्शनं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं। So, since we are in Badrinath, which is considered to be the seat of Narayan, they say that even Narayan did tapasya as two, and then became one. So I am going to do the Gita for you. And it's a chapter which we have not done much. We have done Dhyana Yoga, we have done Bhakti Yoga and so on. Normally when we have a Satsang of the Gita, for the first time in a place, I do the Bhakti Yoga chapter. This time, I want to change it a bit. We need to change things. We need to be, can't be the same all the time. So we need to change. So this time I am going to do something which is called Purushottama Yoga, which is the 15th chapter, Panchadashoga. It's a very important chapter, but it needs a little bit of explanations and so on. Doesn't matter. We'll do as much as we can. Before that, the Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita, song of the Lord. So it's a song. And what I'm going to do, what we are going to do, is a prose satsang. So you may not catch the nuances of a song. We'll try our best. But it is a Gita. It's not a Samhita, it's a Gita. It's a song. So what you should do is, as we do the satsang, between the lines, try to get the music of it, the song, the sacredness of what is between the words, not so much the words. We have a saying that it's not important what one says, but what effect it has on someone. So, I'm going to do the 15th chapter. Now the Gita, as I said, as you all know, is part of the Mahabharata. It's part of Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata. And it's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. But it was written by Vedavyasa. So if you don't want to say Krishna said, you can say Vedavyasa said. You don't make it. Doesn't make any difference because the words are more important. And who said it? It's not only a study of understanding the truth, it's also mentioned, it's also connected with what you practice to get there. Theoretically you can understand, the Gita is also the practical steps to touch that. At the end of each chapter of the Gita, you will find the following. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That you understand. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Next, Upanishads. It is the knowledge of the Upanishads, which are so abstract many times and so deep. But the Gita has managed to put it in such simple language. So and what does Upanishad deal with? It deals with Brahma Vidya, Brahma Vidyayam. Next, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Upanishads of Brahma Vidyayam, which means it's dealing with Brahma Vidya, which is the subject of the Upanishads. But it doesn't end there, because you can sit and say Aham Brahmasmi and still behave as you are. right? I can say, well, I'll remain a murderer all my life. Aham Brahmasmi. Doesn't work. So how to touch that? Not through Vedantic ideology. Yes, you should understand it. The framework is very important. Otherwise you don't know where you're going. Okay, agreed. But are there ways and means to personally make it part of our life and touch it? For that you need something else. So the Gita says, Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So the Yoga Shastra is a necessary part of understanding the Brahma Vidya, according to Vyasa, according to the Gita. Don't ask me. I believe it, of course. Not only believe it, it's my experience that it is required. A human being, sorry, I won't say man, a human being, there's so many ladies here, a human being with the ordinary ways of thinking and the ordinary system that works in our body cannot understand Brahma Vidya. To understand, theoretically you can say yes, but if you want to touch it, you need to change the system. You need to sometimes put things upside down. I'm not talking about Shirsasan. Upside down, meaning you have to look at things from an angle completely different from the angle that you normally look at things. That is the practice of yoga. We'll go into it in detail. You should also remember that every chapter of the Gita is called a yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Sannyasa, Purushottama Yoga. See? So, yoga is not merely the practice of physical postures, it's an attitude of understanding. I won't go into Yoga Sutras or Patanjali because then we'll have 10 satsangs on that. We cannot go into it. It's really technical. People think it's very easy. It's not. It's very difficult. So, but the Gita, fortunately for us, puts all this in such simple terms. That's the importance of the Gita. In fact, among the Prasthanatraya, starting with the Upanishad, the Brahma Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita happens to be, I think, something you should study first before you go into these. Otherwise you will read Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and keep going round and round the Brihadaranyaka, big forest. You may not know how to come out. I think Gita is a very good beginning of the Prasthanatraya, of the curriculum, in simple language. Plus you should understand it's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So, even though it's a dialogue, you will see that Krishna does most of the talking. Arjuna butts in here and there and says, just a moment, this can't be so. Then it becomes Krishna again. Because Arjuna has accepted the fact that he doesn't know, so he has to find out. Unlike the present-day disciples who know everything, they don't need to find out from anybody. Arjuna has admitted, I don't know, so let me ask. See? So, in the Dhyana Sloka, Arjuna is compared to a calf, Partho Vatsa. You know, when the calf hits the cow's udder with his head, then milk comes. So, he asks, but not silly questions, how to stop my loose motions, but serious questions. So, this is what we are going to do today, the 15th chapter. Now, I just need to go back a little bit. In the first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Important to remember. Is the yoga of Arjuna's sorrow. sorrow, insecurity, uncertainty. It's a Sanskrit word, remember. We need many English words to describe. Vishada is not just sorrow. It means many things. It means uncertainty, confusion, insecurity, sorrow, of course. Primarily sorrow. So, it's when the human being is faced with sorrow and trouble and insecurity that they usually approach spiritual teachers. No. It's very common. If you're going to stand for an election, you want a blessing from a spirit. That's a different matter. I'm saying when you have real sorrow, then you begin to look and wonder, is life all this? Or is there something more? If we didn't have that, one would not even think. What does the Granth Sahib says? Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. I'm not saying we should invite dukkha. No. But in this world, sukha and dukkha are opposite sides. So, sorrow and happiness are two sides of the same coin. If you have this, it may be there somewhere. If you have this, someday it will break, like a cloud burst, and you'll get some happiness. But so you can't avoid sorrow, but you can learn how to be free of it. The whole process of yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, is not to escape from sorrow, but to face sorrow and sort it out. So therefore, it's to the point that the first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And remember, it's supposed to have been taught in a battlefield. This battlefield of life, in which we are all there facing. Can it be possible to understand the truth staying here in this battlefield? That is the Gita. Not running away. Where will you run away? You can't run away and leave your mind behind, right? It goes with you. So, how to live in this world? And some people are, how can such a long teaching be done on the battlefield? See? Some people, I said, if you are reading the Gita, and if you think that the person who is teaching the yoga is not an ordinary man, or something different, then this is also possible. Otherwise, forget both. But primarily, it's meant for us who are here in this battlefield of life. And how to stay here? You can't escape until death comes. And sort out your problems. Move towards the essence of what we are looking for all the time. This is the teaching, and I'm going to deal with the 15th chapter now. In different climates, I need glasses and I don't need. So let me see. I think today I don't need. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Purushottama Yoga. It is very interesting. Before we started, don't worry, we'll deal with this slowly. Don't think this chapter is not even taking one stanza, so where are we going? We have only 2 days here, 3. Before we started, we said something about sometimes to understand this truth, you have to turn things upside down. Very interesting. The 15th chapter starts with a description of an upside down tree. Traditionally, in the ashrams in the Himalayas, you cannot eat a single morsel of food without chanting the whole chapter. So all brahmacharis pick up fast because they have to eat, right? So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, so said Krishna. Or, So said the Supreme Reality. Let's put it in different ways and check. Or so said Vyasa. Through Krishna. Where is that? Oh yeah. Urdhvamulam athashakam ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. I'm keeping the book for reference in case I go wrong. So, urdhvamulam athashakam ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. What does that mean? It means, the Lord said, the scriptures speak of the eternal Ashwatha tree. Now, Ashwatha is the people tree. That's why our school is called the People Grove. The Lord said, the scriptures speak of the eternal Ashwatha tree, the eternal people tree, under which the Buddha also sat. The world tree. Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. Whose roots, urdhvamulam atashakam, that means the roots of this tree, of this Ashwatha tree, are up above. Atashaka, the shakhas, the branches, and the leaves are down below. Have you seen such a tree anywhere? Usually the roots are down and the branches are up. Here is a tree where the roots are up and the branches down below. You can't see such a tree anywhere here. I'm going to say that we can see such trees everywhere now. There are, I think, including me, 500 trees like that here. We'll come to that later. The roots are up above and the branches down below. In the cosmological sense, it means the roots are that which is beyond the understanding of the senses, and the branches and the leaves are those what we see in this world, what the senses show us. This is the Ashwatha tree. And in the lower regions, which are the leaves, they are the Vedic hymns. Not the root, the leaves. He who knows these leaves understands the Veda, really. What was that? Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit. One who understands these leaves understands what the Vedas are talking about. Because the eternal root which the Vedas are talking about, here Vedas include Upanishads, cannot be accessed by us. We cannot reach that. Ordinary mind cannot touch it. The sense organs cannot touch it. What can the sense organs and the ordinary mind touch? What we see here. Leaves. And to understand these leaves is to understand the Vedas. Because there is no way you can directly understand the Vedas. You can only see the leaves. When you have keen understanding of the leaves, which means the material world, the mental world, the mind, the sense objects, the pleasures, the pains, all that we go through, these are the Vedas. If you understand that, you can. Then you will understand that beyond this is the root, which we cannot access through the ordinary mind or the senses. But perhaps when the mind is completely quiet, you might see what the root is. Any more to go on this, or shall we go to the next? Hmm? Thank you. Ataschordvam prastastasya shakha gunapravardha vishaya pravala dascha mulana anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. Nourished by the gunas. What are the gunas? Now we go to gunas. Gunas are the attributes of all the world as well as the human beings who are in this world, including the animals. The gunas are the attributes which we all possess, and in Sankhya they are called Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. The Sattva guna, the Rajoguna and the Tamoguna. These are the three gunas. The supreme reality is supposed to be Trigunatita. I chanted the Shanti Mantra Brahmanandam Paramasugadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadarsham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshibu Bhavatitam Triguna Rahitam. Beyond the gunas, but we are all part of the gunas. The gunas are Tamoguna is lethargy, inertia. There are some people who in one day, if they don't think bad of somebody, they feel very bad. They can't sleep. Tamoguna. That's called predominance of tamoguna. You look at a person and say, how beautiful, and the tamoguna person says, but the shoes are horrible. You can't see anything good, you can only see what's bad. So, even if you go to a small tea shop to drink tea, you might give me tea first. Why? There are other people in the shop. This is called tamoguna. And the other is inertia. I don't want to do anything. Why? Oh, I'm a realized soul. When many young people get afflicted with this, it is a dangerous situation. I know young people who don't want to write exam, who don't do anything, want to know why. Oh, Guruji, we have reached Brahman. Tamoguna is inertia. The Gita says action is important, karma yoga. So, tamoguna, we have a rough idea what tamoguna is, right? And rajoguna and tamoguna. Now the rajoguna, the person, every one of us has all these three qualities in some proportion. A little bit of tamo is necessary, otherwise you can't sleep at night. But we have it in different combinations. These gunas, so rajoguna is activity. You will find such people. They can't sit quiet for 1 minute. They have to do something. If you ask them to sit and meditate, they'll sit and they'll wriggle their toes, at least. Or do. Rajoguna. Not bad. Rajoguna is good provided you use it for a proper purpose of purifying your mind. So if somebody is in inertia and in all the time in tamoguna, it's a good idea to do some activity and get out of it. But if it is unselfish and not self-centered activity, then it leads to sattva-guna. Important to note. Inactivity does not lead to sattva-guna. Good activity leads to sattva-guna. That's why when Swami Vivekananda started the Ramakrishna mission, he said, look, you guys, you can't meditate 24 hours a day. Forget it. If you think you are holy, no, do some work. Serve the needy. He called the needy Daridra Narayana. Serve them. Purify your mind. Then you'll think of what is sattva. Don't think that you have left everything and come here, there is no work. Work is important. good work, the less self-centered, the better it takes you towards sattva. Then what is sattva guna? Sattva guna is, you don't have to remember these words, just the meaning is enough. Okay? Sattva guna is goodness. Wherever you find goodness. And in the mental state, calmness and quietness and tranquility. Not to be mistaken with sleepfulness. Quietness of mind, tranquility of mind. When a problem comes, to say, okay, let me think, relax. And when you see a person who you think according to your standards, they may be completely wrong. Then somebody else may have other standards. When you think that, try to look at the good points. Don't look at those. Sattva guna. And on the mind state, sattva guna is that, how your arm is okay now? It's to see the goodness of everything that exists, to keep the mind peaceful and tranquil under all circumstances. In some parts of the Gita, this has been nicely discussed. A yogi is one who has reached sattva guna. For him, praise and blame don't matter. Happiness and sorrow are on an equal footing. Because you can't avoid it. One day you are very happy and then one sorrow fellow creeps in. Don't run away. Pull a chair, sit down. Mr. Sorrow, be there. Have a cup of tea, let's have a chat and go. Keep moving. Happiness comes, don't get too exalted. You know how our lives are? When we are very happy, we are in cloud 9. And then suddenly, it can be a simple thing, I lost my house key, down. And this is our life, a roller coaster, up and down. A man of tranquility, who the Gita defines as a sthita prajna, a human being of tranquility, who the Gita describes as sthita prajna, is one who, under all circumstances, manages to remain tranquil. Now, yoga is the science of how to do this. Not just theory. I know it's not easy. You can easily look at somebody else's sorrow and say, hey, be tranquil. It comes to you. Personally, how will you handle it? I sometimes appreciate how people do it. Maybe they are already on the way to become yogis. So, why are we talking about this? Gunas. So, nourished by the gunas. Okay, I forgot to say one more thing before we go. That when the mind has reached the stage of tranquility or sattva through various things, by practicing how to be calm and also through the practice of different techniques of meditation by which the mind becomes calm, and realizing that there is no escape, so just relax, you can't do anything. When the mind becomes in sattva, when the sattva guna predominates, everybody has a little bit of sattva, we can't say no, everybody has. But sometimes the rajoguna and tamoguna predominate, that is the problem. So when the sattva predominates, then what happens? Then the mind is so clear and quiet, it realizes its true identity. Who am I really? This can happen only when the mind is tranquil. Then, in the tranquil mind actually is not very different from my true essence. It need not even realize it. It becomes that. So the whole process of study and sadhana is to reach that sattva and then transcend even sattva, because in that there is no sattva, rajoguna, tamoguna, nothing. It's gunatita. But there is no shortcut. You cannot jump into Gunatita directly from Tamoguna. From Tamoguna, transfer the mind to Rajas and then take it to Sattva. Then enjoy yourself. You get your pension. So the Gunas. So why I said was Guna Pravardhva Vishaya Pravala. So nourished by the Gunas and covered, it's a beautiful word, budding foliage of sense organs, of sense objects. Of sense objects, you know what sense objects are. All the objects that attract our senses are sense objects. So caught in these Gunas and constantly caught in the budding foliage of sense objects, the branches of this tree spread into regions high and low. And then from there secondary roots come and stretch still further down. And then what happens? Karma anubandhini manushya loke. The humankind is caught in this bondage. Bondage of what? Bondage of action. Which means that there is an action which is done without being caught in this bondage. You cannot remain inactive. Not possible. It's the nature of the mind and the body to act. So there must be some action which is not caught in this bondage of sense organs, sense objects, and the Gunas. So, adastrodvam prasurta astasya shakha guna pravardhva vishaya pravala adascha moolan anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. So finally, the branches of these leaves and the secondary roots, like the banyan tree's roots, they come down and stretch so deep that the human being becomes caught so much that he can't move an inch here and there. Then what happens? I get caught in my separate identity. Starts first with my caste, my creed, my name, my color, the varied functions which trap us. I'm caught in that. Why? Because I'm always looking for enjoyment. Not knowing that the enjoyment that I seek is possible to touch deep in my own consciousness. You don't need anything outside to touch that. When the mind is tranquil and it's in its sattva guna. So we are entangled in these false identities. Unfortunately, everybody encourages it. If you don't have a passport with your name, you can't travel abroad. Everybody encourages this separate identity. But the identity crisis has remained forever. We really don't know who we are. And the teaching of the Upanishads and the Gita, this is your true identity. Man, not what you think it is. And it's a beautiful identity. You touch it and you're the essence of the fountain of life. And where do you touch it? Here. You don't go anywhere. So see how beautiful the teachings of the Gita are. That's why it's called a song. What happens when you're sad? You listen to a song. There are people who enjoy listening to sad songs also. Sadness also has a little streak of happiness. I know people, retired people, I won't say army people because there are army people here, but all retired. Because I knew somebody from the army who was retired, very nice man. But in the evening, he had the habit of, his Paramananda was to have a small peg of Johnny Walker. Keep walking. And listen to K.L. Saigal's sad song. Dil hi toot gaya. One day I asked him, Brigadier Sahab, why are you enjoying this? It's Dil hi toot gaya. I said, tootne do. So even in sadness we try to find some joy. And Dil hi toot gaya, if those who don't know Hindi, it means, oh, my heart has broken. But enjoy it with a whiskey. We are saying enjoy it without whiskey. There is an inner beautiful whiskey which you can find. Not the spirit in the bottle, but the spirit which is within, which is better than the other, which is in the bottle. Why do you think people drink? Because the central nervous system is paralyzed for a while. So you're in bliss. No problems. No, next morning you have problems. That's a different. Hangovers, headaches. Can I divert a little bit and tell you a story? People who are seeing YouTube must have heard it often, but this is iTube. Many years ago, when Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was alive, one day he was going in a horse buggy on the streets of Calcutta. So he looked out of the window and he saw a drunk on the footpath, going that way, staggering along. So he shouted at them, stop it. So they stopped the vehicle. He came out and he went to the footpath, ran to the pavement, caught hold of this drunk tightly, hugged him and said, hey brother, we are both drunks. That fellow didn't know what was happening. He said, I am also always ecstatic, I am drunk, you are also drunk, we are brothers, don't go. So he held on to it. With great difficulty they managed to pull him out from there, put him in the buggy and take him away. He went. He was still saying, why did you pull me away from him? He went off. You see, a saint has no distinction between, he doesn't see anybody who is other than a saint. He went away. But that's not the end of the story. Many years later, after the great Belur Math was built, Swami Vivekananda was sitting inside the sanctum sanctorum, meditating, and he heard some noise. Somebody was shouting, Alak Niranjan. So he came out. And he saw a sadhu with matted hair and white dress standing there, white, just a small cloth, looking at the shrine. Now, if you had been to Belur Math, there is a image of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa there. Idol has been made in marble. Those days there was no idol. It was still under construction. So there was a picture. The usual picture you see sitting like this, that kind of picture. So as soon as he saw this young Swami come out, he asked him, can I hug that picture? He said, we don't allow people into the sanctum sanctorum. He said, please, can I hug? He said, but why? He said, you probably don't know, maybe, I don't know whether you were born before your time. This person, this Thakur was going in a buggy, horse buggy. He ran out. I was drunk. I was an alcoholic. He ran out of the thing and he hugged me. And he said, hey, we are brothers. You're drunk and I'm drunk. And then they pulled him away and took him back. And then Swamiji said, then what happened? Then he said, I have not had a drop of alcohol after that. He said, why? Because I'm always drunk. I don't know, this peculiar ecstasy comes from inside. And I totter all the time, I'm completely drunk. So I came, somebody told me, you have a picture of this man in this temple, so I came to, can I hug? So Swamiji said, please go hug. And then he came out and he said, can I touch your feet? Swamiji asked. He said, no. He said, "You are wearing saffron, you are the sannyasi, and I am a white clad person, you can't touch my feet." And he walked away. So, get rid of all the sad faces. We are here for a feast. So, now there's a little two slokas together. Na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampradishta ashvatthaminam sapirudha moolam asangashastrena dridena chitta tathapadam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuya tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatha pravritti prasuta purani. For one involved in this life, normal life, ordinary life that we live, the form of this world tree, this Ashwatha tree, is not visible. Nor does he know its origin, nor does he know its end, nor does he know its foundation. Now, if you can cut a shandar, this firmly rooted Ashwatha tree, world tree, with a powerful axe of non-attachment. Non-attachment is not non-loving. In fact, when there is true love, there is no attachment. Attachment is when you expect something in return and you're worried if it will slip away from your hand. It's love, it is giving, not receiving. Difficult. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but so with the axe of non-attachment, one can cut this Ashwatha tree and say, I seek refuge in that primeval Supreme Person from whom this entire activity has come forth. A human being should seek that status, attaining to which there is no more return to this life of birth and death. Now when you say birth, samsara, birth and death, please don't mistake it only for past birth and this life and being born again. Birth and death means every time our ambitions are broken, our desires are broken, it is death. When it is fulfilled, it is birth. And this is what we go through all our life, even before we die. In fact, every minute there is a kind of death. And every minute there is a birth. Also, look at life. If you ask a proper biology person, they will tell you that every day millions of cells in the human body are dying and new cells are being replaced. You don't see it. We think we are the same. So every minute there is death and every minute there is life. When one understands this, one is free. When one understands the true essence, which is not part of this, the root of the Ashwatha tree, which unfortunately can be studied only through the leaves and the branches. And fortunately can be studied. Then when one comes to the root, then one understands the reality that one need not die and be born, one is alive eternally and at peace with oneself. The mind is tranquil and resting, and there the divinity is reflected there. Inner self, which is not different from the root from which this whole universe has come and into which this whole universe is finally going to go into. You can call it Brahman. The Buddhists call it Shunya. Shunya is not nothing. Recently, somebody sent me a BBC article which said that India's greatest contribution to mathematics, from where even calculus has come, is the invention of zero. Shunya. So shunya is not nothing. Shunya is that which we cannot define. It's not nothing, it's a no thing. It's not a thing, but it is. So this is what this sloka describes. That caught in this has come. But we won't be discouraged by this. You have? Very good. And how many minutes will it take? Hari Hari Radha. Hari Hari. I didn't say Hari Hari, Hari. I'm sure the guy who operates the generator has disappeared soon. Mama Jyotirgamaya. So, those of us, you and me, who are caught in this world of form and think that everything is different and not the same, us, who don't understand that the root is actually the same. The biological sense that we are descended from chimpanzees. Sometimes we behave like that. Somebody said there were monkeys sitting on a tree and saying, a man descended, we make no fuss, brother, he didn't descend from us. You know? So, anyway, so caught in this thing of narrowness and little-mindedness and this and that and division, the general divisiveness, which is the branches and the leaves and the secondary roots which are so caught up in this earth, one forgets the root, which is eternally free and which is me and you and everyone else, same. When this is understood, one is free. But, therefore, Nirmana moham jita sanga dosham adhyatma nitya vinivritya kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanye gachanti amudha padamavyayam. But those who are free from, watch what is the first word used. Very interesting. The practical thing which we can do actually. What is it? Pride. Those who are free from pride, and the translation would be and delusion, but I would say delusion born of pride. Let me add that. I hope Vyasa doesn't find fault with me. So, those who are free from pride and the resulting delusion, resulting are my words, okay? Who have no attachments, who are absorbed in spiritual pursuits, who are free from the little things of life, who are unaffected by situations which are pleasurable or painful, such persons, freed from ignorance, attain to the eternal state, the root from which this whole thing began. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta, free from the two opposites, sukha dukkha sanyai, treating sukha and dukkha alike, gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat, such wise men, wise girls reach the Supreme. I think somebody should now rewrite these scriptures, taking out the word man wherever mentioned and write person. Nowadays people are called chairpersons. Okay, so what happens if you reach such a stage where you have found the root and you're enjoying the root, you're enjoying the essence of your being, freed from opposites, where there is so much abundance that you don't want anything from anybody but you only want to give? In such a state, when that state is reached, it is defined in the Gita as na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavaka, yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. In that supreme abode of mind, there is no need for the sun to rise or for the moon to shed its light because it is self-illumined. For it is the light of pure consciousness. It doesn't need the sun nor the moon. When you have reached that, one doesn't have any desire to return to the opposites. Such is my supreme abode. Not mine, Krishna says. My supreme abode is that from which you can remain in bliss and happiness with no help from anywhere outside, including the sun or the moon. Once you reach there, you have no desire to come back. Yeah, sometimes you have a desire, I don't know whether to call it desire or a feeling to come back when you see, how come others don't understand this? And then there is a deep grief that hits the mind. And then sometimes people come back. They have a beautiful concept described with the Mahayan. It's called the Bodhisattva. There are two kinds of sages according to them. One is one who attains nirvana and is happy with his nirvana. Moksha is free. Then there is the other type of person who puts one foot across the line into a nirvana. His other foot is about to go. He says, wait, stop. I've seen this. Why am I going here? What about others who haven't seen this? Can I go back and bring some more? Then they come back. Such people are called bodhisattvas. We don't have a term like that in the ancient shastras, but they always have described perfected yogis coming back for the purpose of making others understand that you can be perfect too. Otherwise, there is no satisfaction in coming back. And maybe a cup of hot coffee at 11 o'clock, things like that, simple sentence. So we'll stop with that. This is the sixth. Na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka. I read a very funny translation of this in the ISKCON Gita as it is, where it is written, na tad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka. Pavaka means fire. The translation was, there is no sun, nor the moon, nor electricity. It's okay, So, which means even if the light goes off, no need of a generator. Carry on. So there's a break now for 20 minutes, and then we come back again.